we got feet together, right? It's always a good way to start. Feet apart. Soften your hips, soften your knees, let your shoulders hang loose. Arms come up. Make a big heart shape. Arms come down, we push down. And for those of you that know what we're doing, you put all the details together right off the bat if you're able to. But this is the hands up, head up. Arms down, chin down. Eyes are relaxed. Let your eyelids become heavy. Try to relax your cheeks, your lips, your eyebrows. Like, how do you relax those areas? Well, I don't know if it's really easy to relax them, but I know you can very definitely tense your eyebrows and your cheeks and your lips. So kind of just do the opposite. So again, we keep working our way down. We got the hands, the head, my eyes. I'm trying to breathe as much as possible through my nose. Inhale as we come up. Exhale as we come down. Tongue up to the roof of your mouth. Squish the tongue. Activate the saliva glands. Tongue to the bottom of the mouth. Let the tongue relax and drop. Inhale. Arch your lower back. Exhale. Round your whole spine. So it's really the lower back that's arching and rounding, but on the way down, by tucking your tailbone and dipping your chin, the whole spine actually gets more of a roundedness to it. Hips and knees are already bent, so you shift your hips forward slightly, putting the weight on the ball of the foot. Here I'm flat on my foot. By the time I get down, with my hands pushing down, I'm on my heels. Inhale. I'm trying to make that connection from our fingertips all the way down to our toes and heels. Slower and deeper is better. Exhale. But you all find what speed or depth you're comfortable with. Inhale. Exhale. So we're trying to move like a wave, or like a flag perhaps, where our hands move to our shoulders, to our hips, to our toes and ankles, heels. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do about 3 more, and then let's move on. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So right from here, we're just going to go with our arms out to the side like you're pushing out from the shoulder joint, and then your arms cross in front. If you can cross to the forearms, wonderful. If you can go all the way to the elbows, that puts your hands close to your shoulders here. And then we go out again. So I'm trying to push out, but also go behind. And then alternate whichever arm was on top. So you got the same elements here of chin up, arching, shifting the weight forward on the ball of your foot, chin down, your back is rounded, your weight shifts to your heels. Inhale. Exhale. So hopefully that spine, everybody's spine is rolling. You get each of the vertebrae to move when we do that arching and rounding. Inhale. Exhale. So then from here we move on to the next one, which will be our arms circling. So I do this like 3 different positions because I know some people have shoulder issues. So the first one will be like we're down here, and I'm gonna circle. One arm's going clockwise, the other's going counterclockwise. I'm just trying to like stir paint, like we've got a big paint can underneath each arm. So if that's fine, instead of just the arms moving, I try to get the shoulder joint to move. Kind of up, back, and down. And usually when we go through these, you start to realize, okay, this is a good exercise for my neck or back or my shoulder, whatever. And another exercise, you might say, not so much for that one. So then you go the other direction too. So oftentimes you'll feel it differently when you're going one direction or the other. So that's the low position. Then we have in front. So it's the same idea. You know, we're going kind of opposite with the hands. This is fine. We can go a bit bigger. You can get to the point where you're like putting your hands on the wall, even like that big of a circle. So once again, it can just be kind of the arms moving, or you can get where the shoulders are coming up and then down. The whole shoulder joint, you know, moving in its place here. So that's the forward one, which gets us to the sides. And this is usually the one that people, if they have shoulder issues, they feel it the most. So I'll go backwards first, doesn't matter. Backwards, you go forward. So here's the arm. There's the shoulder joint. And why is that, you know, such a difference? Well, I think there's like 4 bones that make up your shoulder. So if I'm just moving, you know, my arm, you know, this is a bone, obviously your forearm and your hands, but what about the bones that connect? You got your shoulder blade, you got the clavicle, you know, this part, that's what, the humerus. There's one more somewhere in there. Regardless, you're moving the bones. More bones move, more joints move, more muscles. So hopefully you've gone the other direction by now, or you dropped your arms because it's just too heavy. So if you really wanted to, you know, push it, then you pick up some wrist weights or dumbbells, and you do the same thing down here, here, and here. Little 1-pound weights. Do it for 20, 30 seconds. You start to feel it quite a bit in the shoulder joint. Okay, so that's the next one, that sequence. And then we follow up with our feet being a little wider. So here we start to engage a bit more of the lower body, the ankles, the thighs, the knees, the hips, and the back. As we turn or shift, we turn our torso a little bit and tap your shoulder and your lower back on the opposite side. Looking forward is great. If you can pick up some object, like a door frame or window, some object, put your eyes on, try to get your eyes there first before your body. If that's fine, you try to get behind. So the same thing, I can see a picture frame that I keep trying to pick my eyes up. If that's not good, you go back to one of the other ones, you know, to the sides or in front. So this one too, we can go from here and then this foot comes up. So typically I would turn to the right here, you look over the right, right? But we can also do this where I go to here. So I shift left, twist left, and then I turn my foot up to the right. And you can just look, you know, straight out from there. So I'll do the same thing, coming over here, tap. You can do this one a little slower because you're doing a little bit more of a stretch. And then again, shift, tap, toes up. All right, so again, just variations kind of on the same thing. Our next one is gonna be where we start to do the teacup type exercise. So this hand comes above my waist, my feet go a little wider. When I bend, my right knee, left leg is locked. That's our version of the bow stance here. Pick up the teacup and reach and put it up on the shelf. And then come to the side, and let the hand and shoulder drop a little bit. This hand now comes to meet. So I'm stretching across my body, reach up, and sink your hips down a little bit as your arm comes down. And then we do one more circle with that arm, and then scoop up the teacup again, and now we're on the other side. Reach across, come to the right side, right arm, right side. So to get this hand to come across, I want to let my whole spine kind of round. And then it's easier, takes the strain off the lower back. Here my back can be arched. Doesn't really matter if it's arched or not, but here it will round. And then this one circles one more time. And then I scoop up with the left hand to reach across my right side. So hopefully everybody's breathing, you're not holding your breath, but the action that you're doing here kind of helps you to, like here I'm open, so this is inhale. When I come across, that's exhale. Reaching up, inhale. Sinking down, exhale. One more circle, inhale. Scoop up the cup. As I twist across my body here, that pushes the breath out, so that's exhale. Again, inhale, exhale. So this one is a circle on the front wall in front of us, right? The next circle, if you can do the wall there, that's fine. Try to go above your head. And then again, scoop up. So there's always going to be another variation to make it a little more challenging, or exercise a little different part of your body in the process. So this one is the shoulders and the hips, the legs. This one starts to get your spine arching. Here our back is slightly twisted. So we're really moving our back in a lot of different directions. All right, we're gonna do one more and then go on to the next. Inhale, exhale. So I'm gonna go all the way up and behind. Inhale, exhale. So this one kind of leads into another variation. So I come to here. And this is kind of the idea of like a plant, sprouting up. So I pull the wrists back. Now I turn my feet, my toes, my knees straight, but my right knee buckles. Hands come to my hips, and however far down you can reach. I got my knees, I can go all the way to my ankles. And then I come back up. So this leg is still bent. I lean towards my right side, my right shoulder, and I lift up. And then my left hand, I lean towards my left foot. Then my feet pivot, the arm comes across, they meet, you pull back to here, and then reach out. If your back will let you do it, you try to lean into it. And then we come back, scoop up the teacup, reach, come to the front, hands sprout. So this process here of bringing my elbows together, again, is kind of stretching across my back, my neck, my shoulders, if you can get your elbows to touch, your forearms to touch. And then we do this part, a bit of a back stretch, hamstrings, we come back up. So now I'm getting the spine to bend and reach with the shoulder. Then I go the other way, like my hand is trying to go down my leg. So it's Atlas. It's Atlas holding up the earth. A little way of looking at it. Hands meet up, pull back, reach, if you will like, lean into it. If this is all fine and dandy, you pull back and you try to get your elbow to your right knee. And then you can look, oh, look what's going on in the back. I can see you guys, not everybody's doing it. Who cares? Just gives you something to look at. So again, reach, that's the teacup. Toes and knees straight. There's the flower coming together. And then apart. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So any of the parts don't feel too comfortable, you leave them out. If you can do them, wonderful. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. That sometimes will get your lower back to pop. Sometimes, or me at least. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, in, out. So I'm just going to drag my left leg in so I can stand up. So the next one, again, each of these, those are a little more obscure, but some of the other ones, they're definitely similar movements in the Tai Chi form. So I got my feet together, I got my arm up. This hand comes to my elbow. Sink your hips. Take your foot, and make it so that it's light, so I shifted the weight to the right leg, and then place your foot out. Hand to your shoulder, like your thumb. Shift your weight. Let the arm roll across. So right here specifically, this is a ward-off technique that we practice with Tai Chi, and there's different ways of doing that too. So again, feet together, arm up, let your shoulders relax, sink your weight. So if that was one, this is how I remember two. I got the foot once and then twice. I step out, that's two. 3 is just here, 4, shift, 5, ward off. So that's also a wave. This whole thing is a wave. It's the water hitting a boulder and kind of popping up into the air, and then the water settles down. And now the wave starts to creep up. It goes from right to left as the wave creeps up onto shore, right? Feet and hands together. If this is all good, when we do this, we can also lift up. And that gets us the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we really want to do it all as one fluid movement. So it's going to be here, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Someone's phone's making noises, but it's all good. Inhale, exhale, in, out. So if this is all fine, just in true form, we got to add something more difficult. So I wave first, and I get my head and my spine kind of doing a circle too. And then I come up, and then down and do the same thing we've been doing. And breathe out. So instead of just here, I wave. That's just my arm. If I keep my hand by my elbow, now I'm engaging more of my whole spine. If I let the head move with it, again, more of the spine is moving. Pop up, settle down, roll in with the wave. So I try to move my head, my arm, my spine. Pop up, settle down, flow across. So we're going to do it 2 more times, then we're going to move on. Wave with the hand, out, in, out, in, out. So I said one more. In, out, in, out, in, out. So time to finish up. My feet come together. I splash, I flick. I take like a medium speed breath, but I do it again, it's going to be slower. I do it a 3rd time. I look up, try to breathe even deeper and slower yet. So wherever you left off, whatever exercise it was, when it comes time to do this, I'm trying to get it to slow down within 3 breaths. But sometimes, your heart's racing, you're breathing faster. It's like, I can't do that. So whatever it is, when we stand up, the first one is kind of like your benchmark. It's like, okay, I'm trying to slow down. I did the look to the left and then down. So whatever that one is, the next one will be slower. So that by the time you do the 3rd one, looking straight up, hopefully your breathing slowed down tremendously from you monitoring it, and your heart rate might drop a couple beats just in those 3 breaths. Everybody doing good? Got a little warmer in here today. I didn't touch it. I've already been up a couple degrees when I got here, so warm enough. I got to roll my sleeves. So everybody's doing good? Any questions? Move along. So let's move into more of the specific Tai Chi exercises. So we got our feet together. I make a bit of a half circle. So it's awareness. Instead of my feet just going apart, I make a little half circle with the toes. Then I shift forward with my hips as my arms rise. I shift back, my arms drop. Catch the ball, put your nose in your navel, and then shift your weight. So here's the buckle. My left knee buckles, enough to allow some stability there. And then I go to the other side, my right knee will buckle. I finish with the hands always. Back to the center, both knees bend and buckle. Roll the ball down. Then we start it again. So there's another thing in here that I'll often talk about. I'll show you in a second here. This is the up and forward. This is the down and back. So I'm pretty stable right here. When I shift, my shoulder, my hip, my knee, my foot all make like a post, like a fence post. So I'm very stable on that. My right side will be your left. We go to the other side, that left leg buckling, your right side, that makes that post. You're very stable. Come back to the center. Now I'm both sides. I got 2 posts, one under each shoulder because everything lines up. So when you start to like recognize where your center of gravity is at and your stability, then it's easy to kind of like change it and move. So just to give you an example, if I just said that this is my post right here, I can pivot on that. I can go like when we do cat stance. There's my post. Post will turn because it's, you know, solid. You don't want to be pivoting on the leg that's kind of no weight because there's no stability there. So that's a post. So let's do it a couple more times. We got going up. That's metal, like a poking, like a spear. Pulling back is wood. There's that post. And then twist of the spine, the arm follows, that's water. Same thing going the other way is fire. Like the room is fire, the room is hot today, right? Roll the ball down, that's earth. So that gives you the 5 directions of the compass too. We got north, we got south, west, everything is loose. Got east, and then we have the center, the axis the compass spins upon. So think of the waves here again. It's the feet, the waist, and the arms. Same thing going back, feet, waist, arm. Here's the wave coming from the feet to the waist, coming out at the hands. Feet, waist, arms. Come back to the center and stabilizing feet, waist. Arms are always at the end. So the arms, you know, it's kinetic linking. It's like you're pumping from your feet, trying to get the blood to move to your hands. But the least amount of danger, as far as, not danger, but like doing something incorrect, comes from your hands and arms. If my knees are in the wrong spot, I'm doing weird stuff like this, or I'm bending my knee way over my toe, then you're gonna have issues, you know, not necessarily today, but you know, over the next couple of classes. So the arms are always kind of a side effect of moving our lower body. They come along for the ride. There's the shift. The arms come along at the end. We shift. We come along at the end with the arms. Shift back to the center. I'm stable. We roll the ball down. All right, so that's our 5 directions. That leads us into the next thing, which will be 8. So again, I buckle. This hip pivots. I shift back. There's the cat stance I was just talking about, where I have stability that I can turn on it if I need to. Nose and navel, relax your shoulders. Step with your heel. Shift your weight. Feet, waist, arms are the last part. They kind of splash and roll back. Everything has kind of a water theme to it. Here's the ball again. Shoulder, elbow, push with the palms, kind of against each other. Flick. Pull back all the way to your waist, push, relax your shoulders. To turn, I shift my weight, get the feet in the right spot, I sink my waist, my hands, again, last thing to do their part, and then it goes again, feet, waist, arms. So that's our split. So move up a step or 2. So this here is like you're keeping somebody away from you. This bottom hand, there's variations just to give you an idea. They could be here because you're keeping somebody away, but maybe you're putting your hand on their throat. You don't really like them, they're hurting you. Or it could be down here, just kind of keeping your midsection covered. Or sometimes it'll be over here. So it's all variations. I like doing this one because it kind of engages both your trapezius, both sides of the trapezius and your upper back. Here's a splash. This is like you're pulling something down towards your hip. Lean with your shoulder, poke with your elbow, press with your wrists. Flick, little flicking motion. This is actually coming back and then down and then forward. So the other day I was trying to look for the circle. That's where the circle is at. From your side view here, that's kind of where the circle is at. It's rolling this way. Turn. This splits. It's like you're stretching a rubber band between your 2 hands. Catch the ball again. So most of the movements have that ball in it. For this one, it's like I have the ball and I'm rolling it. And now it's in front of my chest. Here's the ball. So this should link. It's not shoulder, elbow, wrist. It's shoulder, elbow, wrist. It's like a musical note. 1, 2, 3. Pull back, and then up. Split. So again, I emphasize there's breathing here. Try to not hold your breath. This would be inhale. That's exhale. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Inhale. Pull back, down, and then up and out. Inhale as you pull your hand in a little bit. Exhale as you push it away. So these all have, words of the action that's ward off. Roll back. It's got the number, shoulder, elbow, wrist. That's 3, 4, 5. 6 is pull. 7 is push. 8 is split. So it's very obvious, like, oh, that's what you're doing. It's the action. But then you get into like the philosophy or the poetry that goes with some of this. This is heaven, because it's this expanding, moving away from you. Earth, coming down to earth, becoming grounded. This is the mountain, which connects to the canyon and the water below. This is the wooden branch. And pushing is sometimes fire, but also metal, that piercing kind of thing. Splitting is thunder. So now you got like 8 different things to do, but you got 8 different poetry type things. Heaven, earth, mountain, canyon, water, wood, fire, thunder. Thunder goes all over the place. It's hard to know where it's at. So let's do one more. Inhale, exhale. Relax your shoulders, sink your hips on each step. Even if you feel like your shoulders are relaxed, try to let them sink down a little more. Inhale, exhale. Turn, inhale, exhale. So then here, I'm going to do this. Here's my baseline. I'm just going to breathe kind of slower, whatever that may be. And then I do it again, a little slower. And then the third one, slower yet. Let the breath slowly come out. So you noticed on that, there's not a whole lot of leaning forward. Most of the Yang style 24, you do not bend your back. There's about 2 exercises throughout the whole set of 24 where you do. But for the most part, it's very upright. You're trying to stay upright, shoulders over your hips for the most part. Your hand is usually somewhere in relation to your foot, like a vertical line, and then your elbows are generally over your knees. It changes though, because there's always a little transition for a second or two, and then it's like, oh, now we're there. Like when I'm here, my elbows aren't over my knees. But by the time I get over to here, then they will be. Okay, so we did the 5 directions, we did 8 different hand things. 3 ways we should work on stepping real quick here. Our bow stance. When we were doing it earlier, it was more like for the conditioning exercises, so we just shifted into the bow stance, like our feet are on a straight line. They just kind of pivot either on the heels or on the balls. That's really, really the main, one of the main stances when we do Kung Fu, like forms, fighting forms in that. Tai Chi, not so much. It's usually going to be not this bow stance, but this bow stance. And we call this a channel, like a channel in between your heels, or the inside of your ankles, if you will. So that's because we want to, sometimes my grammar is just terrible, because we want to have some stability. So this is actually pretty stable when we want to turn from one direction to the other. But like front and back, not so much. This bow stance that I'm trying to get you to here, we go in front of our left shoulder, and then in front of the right shoulder. This gives us stability forward and back, and then to some extent, side to side. And that's why Tai Chi is such a great exercise, because it gives you stability if you practice it this way. Okay, so let's do this like 1 or 2 more times, and we'll go on to the next one. So how do I get to the bow stance on the left side? I sink down, I turn my foot, this foot becomes light, it goes to my right shoulder first, with the heel when it's out there, and then it goes in front of my left shoulder when I set it down. And then I shift forward, and I sink. It's really about 60% of your weight ends up on this front leg. See, I can move my back one pretty easily. To move the front one, I kind of have to do like a hop in order to get it off the ground. So that's a good indicator you got more weight on your front leg. Okay, that's bow stance. We got the side to side one. We did this earlier when we touched down, right? So I reach out. As soon as this foot goes flat, this one should lift. As soon as this right foot goes flat, the left one lifts. So that gets me to be able to do this side to side movement. As soon as it goes flat, other one is up. So we try to do this where we're not looking at our feet. Try to do the shifting with your head looking somewhat forward. If you gotta look at your feet, then fine. We gotta go back. So again, I reach. As soon as my right foot goes flat, left one comes up. So it's almost always, where one foot has more weight on it than the other. Toes, heel, toes, heel, toes, heel. So we're wonderful, right? So if we can't cut it for Tai Chi students, we can take up some kind of dancing, line dancing, I think is comparable to what we're just doing here. Okay, backing up one. When we do the back up one, I face this way. So we can just easily draw our leg back, right? When we do it in the form, I often tell you, like look, and then I try to put my foot blindly where I just was at. So if I got my other left foot, right foot, everybody's on their right side, so let's do this side. So I go here. My feet have to go shoulder width apart and then back. Now to shift the next time, that's when it gets difficult. So I use a little bit of my momentum. I go forward and then I pull my shoulders back. That gives me the weight moving. Cat stance. My legs actually cross and then it goes flat and now I turn into the bow stance where this foot's straight, that one's on an angle. If we just keep the feet where they're at and then we stay there, that's a different stance. That's, again, more from Kung Fu. It comes up in Tai Chi a little bit. It's not real stable for most people. So I got to turn, put my weight here. So we do one more. I shift a little forward, bring my shoulders back, cross the legs, uncross, sink the hips. So even if this leg's a little bit bent, that's fine. If it's locked, that's what we're really going towards, but a little bit bent's fine. So we got going backwards, we got going forwards. We should probably work on spinning like a top too. Anybody want to do that? Again, that would be a different class. There are a lot of exercises and things like that you do spin and they work on your balance. We're not gonna do that though. That'll be a different class. So let's keep going. We got our big form. We're gonna move a few feet to the right here because it's gonna drag us that way. So here's our little half circle. Notice I kind of shift left and right and then I sink. So I'm stable over both hips. Shift a little forward, shift a little back. So that's probably one of the only exercises throughout the whole thing where we're equally weighted on both feet. Now it shifts. From here on out, it keeps shifting from one foot to the other. We got part the horse's mane. We're gonna do each one just one time here. Feet come together. We got our cat stance. Kind of like we're catching the ball. We split it. We split it again. Catch the ball again. This time the hands on top and bottom. Bow stance. We got brush knee as we push. Our feet catch up. Whenever I say our feet catch up, it's usually going to be a turn and then a cat stance. We got one more of these. It's going to be strum. Try to balance for a second and set your heel down. Here's our feet flat. Like I said, only for a second. Look where you're going. Step behind. We got repulse monkey. Push with the right hand, pull with the left. We'll do it one more time just so we get on the other side. Step back, push and pull. So this is kind of an opposite bow stance. If this was 60% of the weight and 40, when I do this, I shift back and I scoot a little bit. I'm about 70 to 80% on this back leg. This front one's kind of light. Nose and navel. Here's our 8. Ward off. Roll back. Shoulder elbow press. Pull down and then up and out. This is kind of just turning, like a double wave almost, ward off, roll back, shoulder, elbow press, pull, push. Here's our split, and we sink, all right? So that's like maybe about halfway through the whole thing. So let's just do it again. I'm gonna add a couple other tweaks in there that you may or may not have seen before. So here's our wave, up and down. This is all standard that we've been doing. Inhale, exhale. So when we do this next one, feet catch up, there's cat stance. Instead of grabbing the ball over here, bring the ball over here. And then bring your hand to your wrist. And now I got my shoulder, my elbow, my wrist over here. And then we do part the horse's mane, we're gonna do it this way. So sometimes I show with the hand out, try with the hand in. So this is almost like when we do our 48 set. We got the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, and then we come over to here. All right, let's do the next one. Brush knee. Next one, sink down first, strum the guitar. If you feel fine, balance. And then this one also kind of has that pushing, the protect, like you're pushing away a little bit. So I got up, and I got a little bit out. So these are all just little details that we can add in sometimes or not. It's all the same stuff, just different, details. Inhale, exhale. Nose and navel, ward off. Shoulders over your waist. Hands over your feet. Inhale. Exhale, elbows over the knee, right? This is just kind of turning. Then the same thing, ward off. Roll back. Shoulder, elbow, press. Come back and down. And then up. So this turn too, the simple way we do it is just this. And there's our split, like when we were doing the beginning warm-up things. But we can also do it this way. From here, I'm gonna come all the way over to this side and catch the ball here. And then it's the same thing again, shoulder, elbow, wrist. There's my cat stance, there's the teacup, and there's the split. As we set it down. So some of you that are paying attention, I don't know who, you'll see some of the different things I just said, the little detail changes, they're in the 48 set that we'll do in another month or two. And it's like, oh, there's a progression there. So it's like anything. We can do this one just simple with the arms. We can do it with the spine. We can do it with the hips. It's like, oh, it's the same movement. So Jim only explained, this part that time. Doesn't mean I forgot. It's just, how much do you want to hear me say every single detail, every single movement we do? So we get into doing a little more complicated. If you can do it, fine. If not, that's fine too. So again, feet, waist, arms at the end. Feet, waist, arms at the end. So just because we're in the smaller room today, some of these that have a repetition to them, we're just doing it one time, like this one. Usually that's 3 times. So look what happens here. Scoot, catch the ball over here. You're gonna feel your spine a little bit more. And then shoulder, like I'm poking my shoulder, elbow, wrist, and then the hands split. And they end up this way. Catch the ball. Brush knee, we usually do it 3 times. We're just doing it 1 time. Strum the guitar. Do a little balance if you'd like. Show me how coordinated and balanced you are. And then there's a little bit of a push with your shoulders. Then we look over our shoulder. Nobody's there. I can step behind. Push high. Pull low. Let's repulse monkey. We do 2 of them. Usually it would be 4, but again, not enough room. Ward off. Roll back. Shoulder, elbow, press. Pull. Push. Relax your shoulders. Pivot and turn. Same series on the other side. Ward off. Roll back. Shoulder, elbow, press. Pull. push. So how do we get to this new way of doing it? The old way was just here, but now I get this bottom hand to drop. And there's the ball. Nose and navel, same thing. Come to your pulse. Put a little emphasis on your shoulder, like bumping, poking, pressing. So this is your forearm keeping something away from you. That's a ward off too. When we do it here, you got the soft side. Soft is like, no danger. It's somebody just playing with you. You're like, soft side, keep away from me, right? Bony side, danger. Something's sharp, something's falling that's gonna hurt you. You want the bony side out. So they'll differentiate this between the different forms. Yang style sometimes will be here. Chen style is usually the opposite. Just, again, different way of doing it. Just a different way to get to the same point. Bony, it's gonna stop something a little more solid. Okay, so what do we got next? From over here, what do we wanna do? We just did that last split. So now I gotta do, over here, it's gonna be wave arms like clouds once, feet come together, and there's the right side. Left side, right side. So there's the foot movement that we just did. It's like a slinky toy. When we get to the last one over here, there's the teacup, there's the split. So that's what I call bookends. We do that split before and after we do the wave arms like clouds. It's a bookend, on both sides of it, holds it up. So again, if we just finished here, I want to get to the other side, so I come over to here, bony side out, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hold the teacup, there's our split. That's the first bookend. Then I come over to here, that's 1, 2, 3, cat stance, there's the second bookend, same movement. Split. Feet catch up. Turn a little bit towards the corner with your cat stance. Reach back. Brush knee. This hand does pat the high horse over here. So we have a tendency to lift our shoulders when we're doing this. Let your shoulders sink and relax. Cat stance again. Here's our flower like from the beginning, kind of opening, blossoming. Center of gravity is low. If you can balance. If you can do that, point your toes, pull your toes. You can reach for your foot. Set the foot down, open your lungs and chest. Bring the hands together to punch. Cat stance again. Sprout again. Try to balance again. Toes, heel, reach. Set the foot back down. Okay, we need to get back in the room over here. So I do watch some of the YouTube videos just to see different things out there pops up. If you click on one thing that has health or whatever, then a whole bunch of other stuff follows, like you might like this. So there's a bunch of Tai Chi ones because I watched some of the Tai Chi ones. And there was this younger Chinese woman, looks about 30, and she did that exercise right there. And she lifted it right up to her nose. She's like, you can try it this way if you'd like, but if not, whatever. And it's like, I say the same things with our group here, right? But mine's out here, and I know some of you are probably, down here. Youth has its advantages, right? But she's probably been training since she's 6 or 7 years old, too. Didn't just happen overnight, so. Okay, we're gonna not go from the very beginning. We're gonna pick it up from the top again here. So say we got this wave arms like clouds. Here's the movement that kind of keeps us going like a slinky. Again, one foot has more weight on it than the other. And then there's our split, sink. Feet come together and then apart. It's kind of like a little quick transition. Pat the high horse, relax your shoulders. So however high you feel like lifting your leg, but whatever that is, try to point your toes and then try to pull your toes. If you can reach, then wonderful. Set the foot down. Punch. So I'm just going to back up a step, get us back in the room over here. 2 steps, 3 steps. Same thing on the other side. Try to balance, try to point, try to pull. reach. Set the foot down. Now here's the pinch. This hand turns into a snake, like a serpentine. It's gonna kind of twist and then poke down, however far down you can go. And then we pop up to here. Face the front. Here's the ball. Sink down. There's kind of like a pluck, the strumming movement. Try to stand on one leg. This hand kind of counterbalances us. Then we do the same thing on the other side. Here's the bird. This is the snake. Try to find your shoulder, your hip, your knee, your foot, however that far down, and then we pop up to here. Then we gotta do again. Rooster stands on one leg. Set the foot down. Cat stance. Someone's throwing you the big beach ball, you say, sure, come on, throw it at me. You catch it, and you squish it. I step into the bow stance. I flip it over. And as I'm pushing it away, I protect my temple as the other arm reaches out. We do the same thing on the other side. So they throw you the ball, you say, yes, I'll catch it. And you bring your hands together. Step with your heel, flip it over, push it away. Feet come together, kind of come to the corner again. So you'll see this, again, the cat stance. This time we bend forward. 1 or 2 times we bend forward. We scoop up. This is that flower kind of opening up, but it's a fan. And then you reach. All right, so let's try it from after we did the kicks. I know some of you are like, I want to do the whole thing, Jim. I just want to do the whole thing. I want to get to the end of it so we can put it together all one big sequence. So we just did the kick. We set it down. This is the snake. Call that snake creeps. Followed by rooster standing on one leg. And then we do the other side. Snake creeps. And then the rooster stands on one leg. This is like you're weaving. It's a loom. Very creative how they look at it. You catch the ball, you flip it. This is as if your hands are on the loom, but for our purposes, it's pushing somebody away. And then the same thing on this side. Catch, flip it over, push it away. Feet come together and then apart. So we have up, we got down. This is needle at the bottom of the C. Yes, you kind of round your back a little bit, lean over, scoop up, open like a fan, relax. Turn. Here's kind of that idea of the white crane spreads its wings again, but it's fists, and it's just for a moment to get us to here. Block, block again, punch. So your thumb is up, like punch position. Shift back like I'm rolling my sleeve down, and then push. Step forward. So there's a couple different ways to do this ending also. So I do it like we're hugging a tree, and we sink. Some other persons would come up and in, and then they expand. So it's a different way of doing the same thing. I hear some music, I don't know what it is. It's not my music. Okay, not from the beginning, from over here. The needle at the bottom of the C, reach up. So, I kind of exaggerate, I say, yes, bend over. If you could, you would keep your back here and you would try to reach, but that's pretty much difficult for most people here. So then we scoop up, open like a fan and reach. White crane spreads its wings just for a second to get us to here. And then here, and then here. Roll your sleeve down, push away. So look how I'm doing this now. I'm gonna come up, cross the arms like I'm scooping up some water. And then I come here, and that's the loop that gets us back to the very beginning. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, shoulder, elbow, wrist. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Strum the guitar. Inhale. Exhale. Look where you're going. Repulse monkey, we'll do 2 of them. Push high, pull low. Look where you're going, push high, pull low. That gets us 2. Ward off. Roll back. Try to get your toes straight if they're not. And that left foot, pull back, push. So this is just kind of transitioning, getting us to the other side. Inhale. Exhale. Try to get the toes straight if they're not, that right foot. Exhale. In. Out. To get the other side, I still can do kind of like the wave up to there, but then I keep going to here. And then shoulder, elbow, wrist. Teacup. There's the split. Shift to the right. Shift to the left. Right side. Shift left. Right side. So there's 3 of them. It kind of keeps us in the room, not so much. We go out here, and then there's a split. Right? So then we do back up a little bit. It's amazing what we can do with this room. I know you folks are backing up and moving much more than I am, but we got pat the high horse, relax your shoulders. Got 2 heel kicks coming up, inhale. So this whole thing is called heel kick. There's a little punch, double punch in between there. And there's another heel kick, inhale. Exhale. So typically that would be a turn, and we would do the next set, and the whole thing would kind of go on the back side, and I'd run over there. Just keep everything facing the front. So after the last kick, I set the foot down, snake creeps, let the breath out, relax your shoulders, inhale, exhale, snake creeps, exhale, inhale, exhale. Work the shuttles. Exhale, a little spine twist there. Same thing on the other side. Inhale. Exhale, relax your shoulders. Needle at the bottom of the C. Exhale. Fan. And reach. Inhale. So this whole thing, even though there's a white crane spreads its wings, this whole part is called block parry punch. Just descriptive of what it is. This apparent closing is what they call it. Is dragon returns and enters. All these different names for stuff. Scoop up, expand, sink. So we got enough time, one more time, really focus on slowing it down and matching our breathing, however that looks. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Relax your shoulders. Out. In. Out. In. Out. So it's almost like we were doing, but then I just come over to here. Out. In. Out. Toes straight, knees straight. In. Out. In. Out. 3 times if we can, fit it in the room. Out, teacup, split, sink. So this whole exercise here is called single whip, even though I just call it split. It's as if you're holding a pole across your back, and you got the strings holding buckets of water, and you're trying to make it up the hill, get the water, or get the water at the bottom of the lake and then go back up, whatever. You have one hand hooking the pole, the other hand's holding it, and then if the bandits tried to steal your water, you would just release your hand, the water would fall, and you could then defend yourself. So that's what the single whip is. It's kind of cool. It's like, well, where's the whip? That's the whip. That's, I guess, what that thing's called. So we got that whip, right? So then, what did we just do? Pat the high horse. Inhale. Exhale. Everybody's favorite, standing on one leg, holding it out. And breathe out. Inhale. Out. Snake creeps. Breathe out. Rooster stands on one leg. Breathe out. Snake creeps on the other side. Breathe out. Rooster stands on one leg. Inhale, work the shuttles. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Needle at the bottom of the sea. Inhale, fan. Inhale. Block, parry, punch. Inhale, dragon returns. Push away. Inhale. Exhale. So we do this thing again, splash. Trying to slow the breath down. Trying to breathe deeper. And stretch the neck a little bit. Inhale. And slow exhale.